Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised. Everyone makes mistakes. But some people are dumb enough to make them on camera. This guy's trying out for the TV show Survivor. Too bad he didn't measure the rope first. A ditzy dancer tries to kickstart his career, but kicks himself in the head instead. This driver puts too much pedal to the metal and becomes a real crash test dummy. A boxer lands his best punch of the night right on the ref's jaw. And a clueless judge learns not to poke around where he's not wanted. These are the most moronic moments you'll ever see. If it's off the wall and it's on tape, then it's all here. It's totally outrageous behavior.
Joe DiCarlo will be on the hit TV show Survivor, if he can survive his own audition. To impress the producers, Joe's going to rappel down a 60-foot rock face. Wanting everything to be perfect, he makes some last-minute adjustments.
I'm rolling.
Unfortunately, his brain's already been voted off the island.
Yeah.
Looks like Joe forgot to measure the rope. Soon, rescue workers arrive to look for survivors and airlift Joe to the local hospital. Joe didn't get on Survivor, but that's okay, because you can't eat rat with your jaw wired shut.
I don't remember being there, rigging up, rappelling, getting hurt, none of it. So the only thing I can figure that happened was that I'd misjudged the amount of slack that I pulled up. I just remember waking up in ICU.
There may not be $1 million check with his name on it, but Joe did prove that no one's granted immunity from gravity. Welcome to the television show Potluck, Australia's answer to Star Search.
I'm looking for action, physical attraction.
Perhaps what she should be looking for is a new career. Today on Potluck, we're in luck.
Act 1, 7, 27.
Dancer Todd Rickson is making his television debut. Wanting to look good, he's pulled his favorite shirt out of mothballs. Too bad the moths got to it first.
It was a pretty sexy outfit.
All right, Todd Rickson, act number 6.
Todd takes the stage, ready to become a star. He begins with a moonwalk. Good choice, never seen that before. Then he follows it with a nice spin move, trying to dry off his flop sweat into the mandatory bump and grind. Followed by some more spins, then some classic disco steps. He's right up to date here. Todd's really winning him over. Couple of big kicks. The pants are holding up just fine. And now for his big finish. Todd kicks himself in the head. The stunned dancer tries to continue, but these moves aren't part of the act. Much to Todd's and the audience's relief, the host stops the show.
You've done it, have you? Oh, I think he's done a hamstring there. You all right? Never mind, mate. Well, I think we'll just take a commercial break, I think, and we'll be back after that break and we'll explain what's happening.
When the show returns, the judges confer and decide that Todd's chances of winning are 1 in 50. And that was before his recent head injury. After years of rehabilitation, Todd makes a full recovery.
And then my
See? Good as new. Painting can be a perilous profession when your partner leaves you hanging out to dry. While putting a fresh coat of paint on the Hotel Cass, 18 stories above the Windy City, this painter was suddenly blown off his scaffold. The petrified Picasso hangs on for dear life and calls up to his vigilant co-worker, the one man who can save him. But he's also fallen. fallen asleep on the job. Looks like this hotel guarantees a good night's sleep even on the roof. Unable to wake Sleeping Beauty, the painters left twisting in the wind. Eventually, a crowd gathers below and someone calls 911. But sirens are just a lullaby to this Rip Van Winkle. Soon, firefighters arrive and wake him up. Everyone pulls together to rescue the painter. Everyone except his partner, who's apparently useless before his morning coffee. The painter is eventually rescued, but he's learned the hard way that when you put your faith in others, one man's dream can become another man's nightmare. When amateur exterminators try to build a better mousetrap, they end up instead with a booby trap. Armed with a broom, a bucket, and a brilliant plan, the mouse hunters take their best shot. But rather than landing in the bucket, the furry little critter lands in her bra. Looks like this plan's a bust. Some crooks give a whole new meaning to the phrase, thick as thieves. These convicts are handcuffed together on the way to prison, but they've planned their escape. The chain gang makes a break for it. Too bad they didn't see the pole. Apparently, the left handcuff didn't know what the right handcuff was doing.
Are you gonna give up? I'm bleeding, man. That's too bad. Okay, I'm done. No problem.
The cops rearrest the men.
I'm not going anywhere. Oh, no kidding.
Read them their rights.
You also have the right to be stupid.
And take them back to prison. Looks like these three stooges will never be free from the shackles of their own stupidity.
Coming up next, when this runner gets steered in the wrong direction, he has to hoof it home. And a bumbling boxer lands his best punch and knocks out the ref. Plus, thanks to a barnyard blunder, this farmer almost puts himself out to pasture when totally outrageous behavior continues.
A boxer goes from champ to chump when he takes too many hits to the head. In this corner, from Canada, Willie DeWitt, and his opponent from Cuba, Pedro Cardenas. When it comes to quick thinking, this heavyweight is a lightweight. The fight begins, and immediately the Cuban is getting smoked. Cardenas looks okay, so the ref lets the match continue. But seconds later, Cardenas finds himself in deep trouble. In a daze, the panicked pugilist forgets who he's fighting and punches the referee. The ref takes it on the chin and goes down for the count. He knows when he's beat and decides to throw in the towel. A replacement referee is brought in and round two begins. But it doesn't take long before Cardenas is in trouble again. That means it's time for his signature move. Punching out the referee. He's clobbering everyone except his opponent. With no one else willing to step into the ring, the Canadian is declared the winner. But when it comes to boxing blunders, Cardenas will always be the champ. Stan and Diane Fraser's Ursa, Illinois farm is the picturesque embodiment of the American dream. Except for one oversized eyesore, a rundown cement block silo. So for his wife Diane's birthday, Stan decides to demolish the massive structure. But instead of hiring a professional, he decides this crop of geniuses can easily get the job done. Stan ties a chain to the silo and tries to pull it down. So far, the only thing destroyed is his confidence. So Stan decides to knock it over by driving his tractor into the concrete structure. A simple push should finish off the job. Uh-oh. Looks like it may have finished off Stan instead. The silo falls the wrong way, bombarding him with bricks and cement. Diane runs to his side. But thanks to Stan's thick skull, he's just fine.
Yeah, I had mortar in my pockets and concrete in my pockets, and part of bricks was in my pockets, and how it ever got there, I don't know.
It is puzzling. This marathon runner is way ahead of the pack, but he has no idea that the race course is about to become an obstacle course. For his opponent to catch up, it would take divine intervention, or bovine intervention. Apparently, the Einstein who planned this race didn't realize the bulls were having a marathon of their own. Forget the finish line. These guys are running for their lives. It's the runner's fastest time yet. Too bad he's going the wrong way. When this cop pulls over a speeding driver, he's the one who's busted for stupid behavior. During a routine traffic stop, Arkansas State Trooper Jackie Clark returns to his cruiser to retrieve his ticket book. But the man in blue quickly turns beet red. His ticket book's locked inside, along with his keys. Let's hope he didn't leave his gun at the donut shop. Looks like this lucky lawbreaker is about to get a break, as the embarrassed officer has to ask him for a lift back to the station.
Tell you what I do. I'll write you a warning. You give me a ride over in my headquarters. Will you do that for me?
But how's he going to explain this to the chief?
Write my keys in my car. I'm crazy.
So the driver prepares to speed away, with the cop riding shotgun.
This a new car? No, it's new. Oh, this is...
And Officer Clark learns a lesson he'll never forget.
I hadn't locked my keys in the car again since that day. No, I take that back. Since that day, I have locked my keys in the car. I keep an extra key often now.
Write my keys in my car. I'm crazy.
While waiting for a plane, this man got stuck on the phone. Well, actually, in the phone. Instead of checking his bags, he was checking for loose change. Now the penny pincher is about to miss his $800 flight. Apparently, the captain has turned on the no thinking sign. Workers arrive to remove the phone from the wall. But he's still stuck, and the phone's too big for carry-on. They try sawing and hammering. But this screw-up is still stuck. So the airport personnel take the frustrated flyer outside and try to drill some sense into him. But just as they're about to finish the job, the smooth operator almost loses his dialing finger. Finally, his hand is free. And this tardy traveler is cleared for takeoff. His ticket may be coach, but his stupid behavior is first class.
Coming up next, you'll be floored by this driver's stupid behavior.
Oh, no!
Plus, a celebrity hunk goes on a talk show and gets hit on. And later, an Olympian gets a penalty for needling the judge. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
Britain's most bumbling bank robber enters a bank, approaches the teller and demands all their cash. But the teller quickly triggers a security shield and sounds the alarm. The robber tries to flee, but he's trapped. So he pushes the door. He smashes the door. He does everything but pull the door. The confused crook dashes out, realizing his mistake. The bank robber is withdrawn from society. and deposited in the local prison. When it comes to stupid behavior, this Russian pop singer is off the charts. Oleg Gazmanov is the special guest on one of Russia's most popular talk shows. With such hits as Chubby Little Boys and Fresh Wind, it's no wonder Oleg is a superstar. But that's not why he's on the show today. He's here to talk about his recent blunder. At an outdoor concert, Oleg steps up to the mic and into a puddle. It's truly an electrifying performance. The shaken Soviet goes down like the Berlin Wall. When Oleg recovers, he appears on live morning television to describe his shocking ordeal. But he steps in it again by choosing to sit in this chair. It's the singer's biggest hit yet. A bookcase crashes down on Oleg's head as the talk show hosts look on in horror.
Ой-ой-ой. Нет? Не сильно? Да.
Да, это да.
Нужно кого-то позвать. Господа, помогите. А мы сейчас посмотрим рекламу.
The director cuts to a commercial for Botched while the pop star tries to recover. It would appear someone is trying to put an end to Oleg's singing career. Maybe someday they'll succeed.
Ой-ой-ой.
This driver wanted a car that could take a beating on rough roads, so he bought an old junker for $25. Disappointed by the car's lousy pickup, the determined driver puts the pedal to the metal and is floored by the car's sudden burst of power. Now he's really flying.
Oh! Yeah! Oh, no! Oh,
Looks like this rocket scientist forgot his physics. An object in motion remains in motion.
yeah! Oh, no!
And a brain at rest remains at rest. After accidentally wrecking his new car, you'd think he'd be crushed. But amazingly, he escapes with just a few scratches.
What a horrendous crash.
In the future, all cars will fly. This guy is just ahead of his time.
Oh! Yeah! Oh, no!
Instead of a Valentine's Day wedding, Jay and Michelle Deacon make the mistake of getting married a day early, on Friday the 13th. Wanting to avoid a pricey church wedding, these two lovebirds decide to exchange vows at a local radio station.
And I now pronounce you man and wife. Woo! All right! All right, it is done.
And now it's time to celebrate in style.
How about if we go let some balloons released in the air to celebrate their love? You want to help me release some balloons?
All right, he's
Okay.
shaking his head yes.
The crowd gathers in the radio station's scenic fairy tale-like parking lot. First, they move into the perfect position.
Go on that side over. Okay. Oh, go on that side of it?
Then, as a symbol of Jay and Michelle's everlasting love and years of future happiness together, they look to the heavens and release the balloon.
Holy we can take that one way or another.
Maybe, instead of looking to the heavens, they should have looked at these 10,000-volt high-tension power lines.
We got our tan before we went on our honeymoon to Hawaii.
We never went on a honeymoon to Hawaii.
Well, sounded good.
Jay and Michelle may not have made it to Hawaii, but since the explosion knocked out power to 3,000 homes and businesses, at least they had a nice, dark, romantic wedding night.
All right.
Coming up next, a nearsighted judge takes one for the team. when totally outrageous behavior continues.
Finnish athlete Juha Laukkanen has dreams of Olympic glory. But there's one thing standing between him and a gold medal: the judge. Oh, there goes that Wheaties contract. With the entire field to choose from, the oblivious official picks the worst possible spot to stand. Good call. The skewered judge makes a full recovery, but his friends still poke fun at him. Asked if he learned his lesson, he said, "I think I got the point."